Welcome back to the channel. Today I have Olle with me.
Hello, hello.
He's a massage therapist, physiotherapist, certified personal trainer with advanced training in OMT. Also, he's a nutrition nerd, but in the best way possible. Welcome.
Thank you very much. It will be a very nice conversation, and we'll probably dive deep into many forbidden topics.
Yeah. Could you take us back to the beginning? Where did your interest in health begin? And also, you had some issues with IBS. So, if you can just take us through that.
I've always been very interested in health in general, very young age, from probably 16, 17. So already when I searched into high school, I knew what some sort of health program. I knew I wanted to do that, and also working out and stuff. I got into, first of all, the fitness culture. So I was very much into the fitness, and at the start, just to, look good like everyone else.
Like everyone, yeah.
Exactly. And I thought, okay, this is the best thing I can do for my health. But eating that way and living that way, it really didn't work for me. I had like gut issues, what you call like IBS, which stands for irritable bowel syndrome. And also probably I had what you called SIBO, SIBO. So it's a small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. It was pretty bad at times. These bacteria, they create products that are not good and they come up in the throat. And then I got dizziness attacks. So sometimes the whole room was spinning, even though I had zero alcohol. It was pretty bad, and I thought I was living healthy.
Yeah, and especially based on your training, and still you got there. So that's interesting. But what other symptoms did you experience?
Yeah, I had to go to the toilet 6, 7 times a day, which people say, it's normal. So I was like, oh, okay, maybe it's normal.
Normal.
Yeah. So I didn't even see it as something wrong. And also I have genetics for eczema.
Yeah.
So I can get really scratchy skin if I eat stuff that my body doesn't like. And of course, the classic with brain fog. I had a hard time, like, I need to have my food, otherwise I can't think. But now it's almost the other way around. Like, if I don't eat, I think better. So it was probably the blood sugar spiking up and down all through the day.
Yeah, that's interesting. When you're fasting, then you can think more clearly. Some of the symptoms disappear, right?
Yeah.
So you knew it was something related to what you were eating, or were you like confused about what the issue was?
At the beginning, I was a bit confused because I was a bit stupid and I didn't understand the relationship between the gut and everything. How could this create the dizziness? Maybe it's something in my mouth because I got these tonsil stones. Maybe it's something in the mouth, but that was from the gut, And then I went to the doctor and they gave me this flush thing and I had to flush and the stones disappeared. But that was just temporary. Of course, they came back because it wasn't from the mouth, it was from the gut all along. So when I started to research that, it's all about food. It has nothing to do with other stuff like with the mouth or anything.
Yeah, but where did you research? Where did you find that it had some connection to the gut?
Good question. It was so many years ago, but I know it was YouTube at least, if it was Sean Baker and Paul Saladino and those huge carnivore guys.
Carnivore.
Yeah, I think that was the first, because those are the only people that talk about it, because vegans, they get more gut issues, so they don't want to talk about it.
Yeah. And so you started on carnivore after that?
Yeah, I experimented a bit and I noticed like sugars and also coffee made my symptoms worse. So I started removing those and I noticed, what? My tonsil stones, they are starting to go away.
Yeah.
And then I tried at first carnivore, but with fruit. It was probably almost 5 years ago now. And then I went like full carnivore. And I've been, not always, I had like maybe 6 months I wasn't carnivore, but more or less carnivore for, almost 5 years now. So that's pretty nice.
For 5 years?
Yeah.
And what's your experience on the carnivore diet? Have you felt anything negative since starting?
Yeah, for me, it wasn't a problem. I think a lot of people have social issues. What am I gonna eat around people? But I never really cared. I remember one time in university, I had raw meat to school. And there was a guy, he came up and he was like, what the fuck is that? You know, I was like, yeah, it's raw meat, it's food, you know?
Yeah.
And he was like, okay. And then he had some processed shit on his table. And I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, is that processed shit? He was like, yeah. I was like, what the fuck? You know, I imitated him.
You turned it around.
Yeah. And he got, oh, I shouldn't have said that because,
Yeah.
you know, eating meat, it can't be more natural. And he's sitting there with his, I don't even know what that slob was.
Yeah. But that was a good turnover because I think it's good for people to think about what they put into their mouths. Because, as you said, like bringing raw meat, it's not very common.
No.
But it's very common to eat processed shit.
Yeah.
Packed in like plastic.
Exactly.
So what's normal, really? Things from nature or things from the store?
Exactly.
That's ultra processed.
But otherwise, I don't think I had any real downsides. Yeah, not as much dopamine kick, but you get like natural dopamine instead. Especially raw meat, you get very calm instead, which is a way better feeling. I don't need to get those highs because if you get highs, you always need to get low. That's how the nervous system works. It goes up, it can't go to the middle. It needs to compensate and go down. That's why people, when they've been to like festivals and taken like pills and stuff, after that they are depressed for weeks, some of them, because they've gone up a lot. Their nervous system, it always has to come down, otherwise the brain is fried. So when you're on carnivore, you're a little way more stable in the nervous system and the blood sugar and the hormones, everything. So you can be happy all the time instead.
Yeah, because I tried carnivore. I'm basically animal-based carnivore.
Yep.
It depends. Sometimes I'm animal-based, sometimes I'm carnivore. But I've been carnivore, especially when I wanted to get rid of my autoimmune symptoms. I went full out carnivore for like a year. And then I started to include some fruits sometime. But you eat not only meat, you eat also raw, straight through, or you mix?
Yeah, I mix both. Yeah, that's seemed to work pretty good for me. And also sometimes I'm not like super duper strict. If I want to eat berries, sometimes I will do that.
Yeah.
Especially because if you work out a lot, it can be hard sometimes to keep the weight maybe that you want. So then I can trigger my hunger system with berries, and then I can eat more meat and more fat after that.
Yeah. Is it hard to like keep the weight on when you're on carnivore?
Yeah, if I have a hard workout period, it can be a bit harder, but especially if it's raw carnivore, because
Oh, really?
getting enough, yeah, but you can just add also some milk. It's also got like, I think it's called casomorphin.
Yeah.
So it also triggers your hunger. Or just maybe a couple of berries sometime, and then okay, now I can eat like 500 grams more meat, and then I'm fine, you know. But most of the time, it's no problem. I haven't weighed myself in 2 years, but it's probably the same all year now.
Do you sometimes include other animal products also, or is it strictly meat?
No, I eat eggs as well, and some dairy products, especially like butter. But I almost never drink milk. I prefer like high fat dairy.
Yeah. Do you eat like higher fat when you're on carnivore, or do you eat the fat from the meat, or does it depend on the cut?
Yeah, it depends on the cut. So if it's a leaner meat, then I just add more butter. So that's the fun thing about carnivore. You need to get to know your body, how much fat you can take. We're not counting calories. That's a totally different topic, but yeah, it's pretty much bullshit, you can say. That it makes just psychological damage instead. So that's not for me. So you have to listen to your body and see how much fat you can take, how often you go to the toilet, etc. That's how I measure instead.
Okay. So, like, have you noticed some foods that are more triggering for your issues, like eczema or IBS?
Yeah, I think it's like everything with sugar, pretty much.
Because you mentioned coffee.
Exactly, coffee and sugar, except like fruits and berries, they are okay. If I eat too much, especially with a lot of fiber, then I feel it in my stomach. This is not optimal. In the summer, sometimes, when I'm at my mom's place and she grows a lot of berries, you don't need all the pesticides and herbicides. Then sometimes I eat too much, and I can feel this is not good. My like symptoms starts to get back a bit because some berries are also very like fibrous. So it's also the fiber is also triggering for me. That should be very good, they say, but
Yeah, because that's the thing. They say it's so good with fiber. Your stomach needs it.
yeah.
What's your view on that?
Yeah, it's very strange. If the body wants to take it out quick, because that's what happens for a lot of people, because it's not good for us, then why should it be good for us? It kicks, it makes the stomach and digestion system go on fire. It's good because it starts the digest. Why? Who needs something to start the digestion system? The body starts it by itself. What other animal needs to start up their digestive system? So it's very strange, those arguments.
Yeah. How have you gone about when you go out with friends and everything and you want to eat perhaps at a restaurant, you want to have this social life? What has been your solution for that?
Last time we were at a buffet, which was pretty good for carnivore, but I asked the waitress because if it's one thing that I try to avoid almost always, then it's seed oils. So I asked the waitress if she knew what were seed oils. Of course, they put it in the meat also. So she gave me like a note of everything that was seed oils, and then I could take the other stuff that wasn't seed oils. But there was, yeah, many kinds of different cuts and meats, and then maybe I took some tomato with some mozzarella, and yeah, I was fine. In those occasions, I'm maybe 95%, but I try to avoid seed oils especially.
Yeah, you want to do that because they stay in the body for 2 years and they cause a lot of inflammation and oxidative stress, I think it's called. So clearly you want to avoid that. But if you would go out for a Swedish fika or go out for a cup of tea or coffee or something, what would be your option in that situation?
Then I would just take a coffee probably, because I can handle if it's one. And also, I always say carnivore is no ideology. It's not like veganism. The ism is what makes it the ideology. There's no carnivore-ism. So if it's like Christmas and I want to eat something else, then I will eat something else. Maybe there will be consequences, but then that's my decision. It's just in my everyday life. Then it's pretty much 100% meat, butter, and eggs.
And so then you just take it. You take a coffee, but do you take something like other at the cafe? Would you take a fika too? Something sweet treat?
No, very rare. I don't remember last time. If I'm gonna eat something like that, I want it homemade, like real butter, and so I know that it's not even good. I think
Yeah.
the
You say
processed
it's a
cakes.
treat, but
Yeah. I don't understand.
yeah,
In that case, I eat homemade if I'm gonna eat something like that.
exactly. But are you a sweet tooth in your base?
No, not at all.
No.
I could always reject. It was pretty easy for me. If it's more like a salt tooth in that case. Because when I was like, I don't know, 14, 15, then I loved these Pringles. So I used to buy, like 2 of these Pringles every week. And I built this, I remember, it was so stupid. I built this pyramid with Pringles, in my room. My dad was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I'm collecting Pringles. That's so stupid.
Yeah, I had a friend who did the same.
Oh,
I don't know if she built a pyramid, but she
yeah.
collected the like Pringles.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
was so funny.
Yeah, and then it's the worst. It's sugar, it's seed
Yeah.
oils,
But it's not even potatoes, right? It's made
no,
from
it's on powder.
wheat, I
Yeah,
think.
it's the worst of the worst. It can't even. It
Ultra
can't.
processed.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of that is worse is what's are they called? It's fried. What's it called? Like churros.
Fried things like fries.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they have so much oil in them. That's the thing.
Exactly.
But they also have some kind of, they put in something that makes you more hungry. It's like glutamate. Could it be something like that?
Maybe.
It makes you want to eat more. It's a
Yeah.
substance that makes you want to eat more. And they put it in the fast food so that you will order more and everything like that.
Yeah, and it's acrylamide, I think it's called in English, in fries. And that is, it's been linked to depression.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
something
this
like
it's created once the oils they oxidize. I think it's created.
yeah.
So they tried in China to have like fish tanks, and they put acrylamide into the fish tank just to see what the fish does, like an experiment, real experiment study. And the fish they get depressed. They were swimming against the floor and stuff. Yeah. So even the fish get depressed by acrylamide. Yeah.
Oof, that's terrible. But because you have clients also, and you usually recommend this diet, I can imagine, for
Yeah.
them.
Usually, yeah.
But if they have a sweet tooth, what do you recommend them? Like, how do they go about solving that?
I think having a sweet tooth is just a cope. Really, it's a coping mechanism. Maybe it could be, yeah, it could be psychological also because it's a way to deal with trauma and stuff. But it can also be like just purely biochemical. Your dopamine is just off.
Yeah,
You need to get that dopamine kick. So I would say
yeah,
if you identify as a sweet tooth, then you need carnivore even more. It's like the other way around. It's more important for you
yeah. I
to
think
get
so
like a
too.
good baseline for dopamine, but you need to do it slow, in a slow pace, like maybe 3 months, like transitioning slowly. The hard thing is, especially if you're intelligent, your brain will come up with excuses, and and then you can, and it can always, it comes up with another and another. So you find the brain will find a way to eat if you're addicting to
Yeah,
eat
to
it.
get back into it
Yeah, it will. Oh, I'm low energy
eventually.
today. Oh, I need to study today. Yeah, okay, then I need it this day. And then, but that's why it's good with like a friend or a coach or someone like, yeah, you can talk to about it like pretty often maybe.
Yeah, yeah, that's the thing. Because when I was like full out carnivore, it disappeared for me. Like
Exactly.
I didn't crave sweets. As soon as I started incorporating more fruits and berries and everything like this, then it started to creep up on me. Like I wanted that dopamine or whatever.
Yeah.
I really felt like I needed it. Whilst before I didn't even think about it. If I went out for a coffee, I didn't view the sweets as food. I viewed it as something that isn't supposed to be in your body.
Yeah.
But like now, sometimes I just crave it more now. So I'm thinking about maybe I should go back again, full out.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. Like sometimes I can do with milk, it will not trigger too much of the sugar spike. Like fruit is, I think it's too heavy for me, for example.
Yeah.
Berries is not too much either. Like I can eat berries with no problem. So maybe just berries, milk, and meat or something.
Yeah, sounds good. I've heard also from mothers that are like pro carnivore,
Yeah.
and they try like fruit with their children. And then even with fruit, it's the only thing they want, the children,
Yeah.
after a while. Because they want that dopamine that they don't get it from meat. Give me fruit. Yeah, yeah. So even fruit can like fuck up things.
Yeah, because it's so sweet and it's so tasty, but it's so much sugar and you don't think about it. Because often fruit is bigger, so the glycemic index it's way much higher. So you can easily get a lot of sugar in you.
Yeah, then it hasn't existed evolutionary, that amount of sugars that the fruit
Yeah.
has today. If
Yeah.
you look back even 100 years, like nothing of this, what we eat today, it looked like that. Maybe some things like berries and stuff, but a lot of things are just completely something other. Our biochemistry is not adapted to it at all.
But when it comes to this way of eating, it has really changed the way you look at health, right?
Yeah.
Because you studied before and then you learned this by trial and error because you tried it yourself. And now you help your clients with this. So, like, how has this shifted your view on health?
In many ways. First of all, I believe that it doesn't matter what diet you're on, it's mostly the body that heals the body. So there's nothing outside that can do it.
Yeah.
The carnivore diet is just that it's as little bad stuff as it can get, and then nutrition to support our body to do its own thing. But it's the body. That's why you get almost the same result when you fast as when you do carnivore or like a strict keto. Maybe even better sometimes, especially for fat people. The body will always heal the body, and you never know the limit. They say, no, this is permanent, this is permanent. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, maybe it is, but maybe the body can if you give it time and space and you don't fuck up and don't eat stuff that makes it worse. Maybe it can heal. So it's also that, not giving up hope. Of course, there are unhealable stuff, but you shouldn't trust your doctor blindly on what your body can or cannot do.
Exactly. And maybe it's more about what you don't eat also when it comes to going with a certain diet. Because when you're in that diet, you stick to these kinds of foods. So maybe it's also that you give the body a chance to not be inflamed all the time. So it has the possibility to heal also. Like you say, with fasting, that's like the ultimate way of letting the body clean itself because then, first of all, you're not putting food in, so it doesn't have to work with processing that. And then also you don't eat things that inflames your body. So it's 2 in 1. Plus it removes like cancer cells and things like that when you take it easy, when you don't eat all the time. But
Exactly.
like, how many times a day do you eat? That's also interesting.
Usually 3 times, but breakfast is usually 3 or 4, what's it called, yolks, egg yolks, only like raw egg yolks. Because I don't want anything heavy. I just drink them and then I go. And also I prefer to sleep a little bit more than to fix something. And then lunch and dinner. Maybe if I'm hungry, I listen to my body. I can eat more, then I just take something more. And if I'm not hungry, I don't even eat up, then I just place it in the fridge again, the food. So yeah, I try to listen to my body, but usually 3 times a day.
3 times a day, nice. And because I think when you eat all the time also, it takes up so much time. But you're eating raw, so that is no cooking time.
Exactly.
It goes so fast. You can just wake up, put it in a glass and drink. Done.
Yeah, so fast.
And also like dinner, if you're just eating a steak, there's no cooking time.
Yeah, sometimes I just take it right out of the package and just start eating it. So yeah.
And people look at you like, ugh. But you don't care about that at all. Or did you in the beginning, like a little bit?
No, not too much. Maybe it's because I've done like I had an alternative view on many things before, so I was kind of used to it. If this was the first thing that stuck out, then maybe okay, yeah, this is hard socially. But also I care about what my best friends think, and they do. Many of them do it themselves or support. There's no no negativity. I don't care what a random thinks. A random person. Care about my family and good friends.
Yeah, and strangers is whatever. They can think what they want.
Exactly. And I don't give any pointers either to strangers. Even if they eat processed food, I don't. Yeah, like in university, I would never say to them, why do you eat that? I don't care. You can eat what you want. I only. The people I want to help the most is those who think they really want to try, but they are misinformed. They think they do it the optimal like I did. But then it only gets worse, the symptoms, because they are willing to do anything. Because most people know that processed foods are bad, and they still eat it. They still drink alcohol, smoke cigarettes. So that's not the problem. I don't want to help that group. Okay, if they want to do that, that's okay. That's their choice.
But you speak about your friends, that a lot of them are also carnivore. Or are they like animal based or?
Yeah, carnivore or animal based, but yeah, in that area at least.
Yeah. Did you influence them?
I think so.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
but like, how
they
could you
they
not, right?
yeah, and also I trust in Olle. He spent a lot of time studying this, so why not try? Okay, and they try. Oh, I feel good. So it's more like their body gives them the answer. You can try it.
But you got them to start think like this, because this is not like common knowledge at all.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
And you have to be like somewhat not brainwashed just to be able to listen to your body. Most people can't even do that. When I went to the toilet 7 times a day, I wasn't listening. It was like, yeah, it's normal. That's brainwashing. It's not normal deep down inside, but you suppress that feeling because, yeah, society, it's okay, it's normal. No, it's not normal. You're sick. It's unhealthy.
Yeah. And also, you think it's normal because so many people are sick.
Yeah.
And that's crazy.
Exactly.
But like, what other views? Because I can imagine you studied this and then you learned, okay, this couldn't be like further from the truth when it came to like nutrition and everything like that. What other things have you started to like question after that? Because, or before that? Because you said you already had some things that you questioned when it come to the society we live in.
Yeah, just how the system works. Because I've like always tried to ask questions to myself. When I was small, I played chess against myself. How can I beat this move? How can I do okay? And then I turn around and I try to beat myself. It's the same. I question, why is that? Why is that? And then I do that. And in that way, of course, you need some kind of information, of course. But it's also a skill. It takes time to integrate that. But now I think pretty fast. It's like the most important skill is who to listen to, because there's so many rabbit holes. It's so easy to get misdirected. So you need, okay, why should I listen to this person? Okay, interest do they have, etc. It's more about asking questions, really.
Yeah, asking questions and not giving up until you get what works for you, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. So
Something, yeah.
but there has been a lot of everything has changed in my views, like with diet, like calorie counting and macros, and it can't be that easy. It has to be super complex, and then that's also like a brainwashing. Like, why would it be super complex for us when it's not super complex for any other animal?
Yeah.
Why do we need like an observation study, which is nutritional science, is mostly like 90% observational studies, epidemiological studies. And I asked them, why? Okay, then how do you know what the cow should eat? Yeah, we looked at them and what they've eaten, and then we know what they should eat now. Okay, but don't you have observational studies for cows? No. Oh, okay, it's only for humans. Why don't you just look at what humans have eaten?
Yeah.
It's the same. It's not that complex, really.
No, but also like, do you use common sense or do you look at results, or how do you navigate to know what's real and what's not? Because right now, especially on the internet and people talking and doctors saying different things, how could you know this is it? This is the best?
First of all, if it's a lot of psychology also. I try to read, but if they're educated by the system, so to speak,
Yeah.
then I'm a bit more on my feet because they have an interest in selling that ID, the system. And it's very hard because they put a lot of years into studying it and a lot of money to study, of course. So it's very hard for them to change their mind. But it's hard to explain. I'm trying to read people, and also the proof is in the pudding. That's another thing. I feel pretty healthy. I think I look pretty healthy. So I think people listen to that more. So
Yeah.
if it was like a very unhealthy person, then of course I won't listen to him. Yeah.
Yeah, because that was the thing with me also. When I started carnivore, it was not obvious for me, but I looked at the carnivores and they looked so healthy, so radiant. And I compared it to other types of diets. and the people going on those types of diets. And a lot of time they looked like skinny fat, or they looked too skinny also, or they looked like they were drained, or things like this. Whilst on this diet, people look just so healthy. And you can tell from their skin, from their eyes, from their everything, from their energy. So that convinced me. But then also, of course, trying it myself. And then, as you said, some things, like why do I get better when I fast, for example? If it has nothing to do with what I'm eating, then why do I get better then? Okay, sure, you give the body space to relax, but at the same time, why do I get inflamed and bloated when I eat then?
And that's also so normalized, especially for women.
Yes.
Getting like bloated. Oh, it's my hormones. Yeah. And they convince it's each other. Yeah, it's normal. And they take the Instagram photo of the stomach portraying it's what? No, why do you normalize getting this bloat after every meal? No, it's the fibers. It's your body isn't reacting good to it.
But you question the system and, of course, their recommendations. Do you feel like you can trust doctor's advice or a nutritionist, or do you take matter into your own hands more nowadays? Like, you need to check it up yourself. You will not trust a stranger just because they have a degree. Is it like that level, or does it depend on what your issues are?
I think, of course, it depends on what, but they can have some good base knowledge of the topic. But I'm not sure how you say it in English. Slutsats.
Conclusion.
Yeah, the conclusion they come for to. That's usually the problem. So yeah, I'm very to take everything in. But I say to people like, yeah, you have to be your own detective. If you can get help from someone else, that's like a bonus. You can't expect another human to help you with your health.
Yeah.
You have to help yourself first and foremost. And then if you can get the help, okay, that's a bonus.
Because you say you have some mistrust for the systems. Is it because you think it's profit driven? Or how did we come to this? Like, why does the society look like it does right now?
Big question.
Yeah. I just have a little question for you.
Yeah, exactly. So many factors happening at once. The common people on the ground, they're like, let's say, nutritionist or doctor. They are just normal people. Many of them are just normal NPCs being told what to do, and they just want to have food on the table for their children. I can't blame them really. But then if you look back way more, like hundreds of years, yeah, then you can see this happens some fishy things that can affect everything down to like right now. Like Rockefeller Foundation, the Rockefeller family, they've affected a lot in the like health space. And everything that happened in America with the 7-country studies when they said like fat was causing heart attack. And then
Ansel Keys, right?
Yeah, exactly. And the president got a heart attack, even though he followed Ansel Keys' advice of keeping his fat low. So that was pretty funny, if you can say.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so the Eisenhower is called. So a lot of it stems from its history. That's one thing about people today. They think everything started when they're born. No. Everything that we have in our schools and the system, it happened hundreds, sometimes maybe thousands of years. Stuff influenced it for it to be a certain way today.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But I don't think people think that everything started right now, but I don't think they see the bigger picture, because when you see the history and where we are right now, and maybe we can often see a little bit where we're going also, based on just psychology, human nature, everything like this. And I think a lot of us, we miss the bigger picture, because before, I think our ancestors, for example, they passed down knowledge in generations. But now I don't have to pass this down. All the information are in books and on the internet, and the teachers will surely tell the children this if it was lethal or if it was crucial for the kids to know these things, then the doctors would tell them or the teachers would tell them. Like the responsibility is no longer on the individual or the parents, it's more on the system. But of course, there's an outcome to this also. When you leave the responsibility to someone else, then you have to take the consequences from that. But maybe you don't want the consequences coming with that. So it's tricky, but
yeah. And I believe it's also things we can't really control, like a genetical problem, like just how humans are. Like a majority of us will be followers, will not be like think by ourselves. Because in a herd, if everyone think by themselves, it's chaos. You need to have a majority in a herd, because we're meant to live like 100 people in one place. We're not meant to live like 1 million. So our nature is to follow the herd, most of people. So that's also one thing that's, very hard to get through. It's just human nature also that caused a lot of this, I think. But if the, let's say, system or state or whatever was good, and they gave good health advice, then that herd mentality might be good in that sense.
Yeah.
So it also always depends on the situation.
Yeah, because I think it's like you say, it's so fundamental and it's probably based on basic survival needs. If you stand out too much, then you cannot be in a group.
Yeah.
Because then they will push you out. The weird hen will get picked on. So it's the same with humans. Like it's not natural for us to go against the stream, to think for ourselves, to go a different direction than the rest of the herd. It's much easier, and it's like for the psyche to go with the herd because of this like fundamental survival instinct.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
it's hard for men, but it's even harder for women. Because then that means like if you're not in the herd, then you die and probably your child. So it's like a double trouble for that. So that's why it's so important, like people like you do this work, because women generally listen to women, men generally listen to men, etc. You listen to people that you can relate to. So important to have different kind of people to talk about these things.
Yeah, I do believe so too. But it's so interesting how much that is psychology. We get brainwashed, but it's so weird because when it comes to things like nutrition, they almost say the opposite to the truth. Someone said if you would flip the food pyramid,
Yeah.
then it would be the right advice. But at the same time, they release studies and things that shows the contrary and scare people because that's also like a survival thing. Like you want to, as you said, like those who are interested in their health and want to get really healthy, when they look into these kind of things, it's probably some baseline fear they have, maybe that they will get ill or they just want to live optimally. And then they have all these things saying the contrary, scaring people from eating things like meat. Oh, you will get cancer. If you eat this, then you will die. Your cholesterol will go through the roof and you will die. And like it's always you will die, basically, or you will get sick if you eat this. When it's what we as humans have been eating for the longest time and are the most adapted to. So that's something I have started to question that a lot. Okay, you can get things wrong, but can you really get things that wrong that they are the opposite to the truth?
No. And that's what's so scary for people. That's why they don't deal with it. Because if they can lie about that and our fundamental health, how to live a healthy life, what more can they lie about? If you start questioning one thing, then the Pandora's box open, and then that's very painful for people. I think they subconsciously they think, okay, if they can lie about this, what else do I have to research after this? Because then what else can be lied about? Everything, probably. So I think that's very scary for people. And it's very hard. You almost have to do like a restart, install Windows again.
Yeah.
It's very tough.
Reprogram your brain.
Yeah.
because that's so easy to do when you're an adult
No.
trying to navigate in life.
Yeah, and even everyone, me and everyone, we are also, like, in some sense, sometimes I notice myself like, oh, why did I automatically think like that? When is that? Was that? I was probably some kind of brainwash
Is
a
that
little bit.
programmed there?
Yeah. It's, and then maybe I notice it like a couple of days later. Then so we're all programmed in some extent.
Yeah, I do believe so too. But that's crazy. And so we can go in a little bit to talk about training also, because you have so much knowledge. So I just want to use you now when I have you on here.
Yeah.
So, how do you go about training? What do you think would be the optimal training form or ways of training for someone who wants to get healthy? And do you feel like carnivore affects your training in a good way or bad way?
Yeah. In the first months, pretty bad, because I couldn't produce enough blood sugar by myself, my own body, and the insulin was off. So I got 30 minutes into the training, and then it was like, poof, okay, I can't do anything. My whole body is shut down. And that took a couple of months to get over. But then after that, I think it's the same or even better, actually, for me, especially like longer sessions. But to answer your question from health, yeah, I think it depends on who the person is a lot, but like strength training, some kind of strength training should be included. And also we are like sitting a lot. So also just walking is really good for you. Walking barefoot outside in the sun. That's so underrated. And it's good for the back health. People like lower back pain. It's like, yeah, like everyone has it. It's because we're sitting so much and we're inflamed also. So diet also affects back problems. So they're all connected. But just walking outside, yeah, I think for young guys, they should probably have at least a period where they lift pretty heavy and try to be like stronger, so they have that muscle memory. Because once you had some kind of muscles, then your body will remember it. So it's easier to get to that kind of muscle mass again. Of course, women should also work out, but maybe depending on age, etc. If you're not trying to be elite at something, maybe it's not optimal for your hormones and stuff to do 100% every time, because your hormone system is more sensitive. It's just what it is. You can do what you want with that information, but that's what it is.
Yeah, so for women, it's more they look into their menstrual cycle, maybe, and work out depending on where they are in that cycle. So, what's the most important thing? Because you picked weights, it's important for everyone. How come?
Because we're so sedentary and we need to strengthen our skeleton and muscles, and also just psychologically, you don't have to strength train, but just doing something that absolutely forces you to have focus in the situation. And also there's so much variation. Strength training is, it's every movement. So you can do everything, which makes you more balanced in the body if you do it the right way. If you only jog, then maybe you get some kind of problems down the line with your knees and stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's why I think it's the most balanced way to work. It should feel good when you work out. That's also a thing. You shouldn't feel joint pain. No, try different movements. Training should feel good. Like a pump, it should be okay, a little bit pain in the muscle, but not like in the joints and the skeletons.
Yeah, exactly. Because I've also heard when it comes to strength training, it helps burn fat. So it's a good kind of weight to put on because it will make you more firm. And also, no, it's because you burn more calories, right? When you have more muscle on.
Yeah, exactly.
Very nice. What do you think about sprinting? Have you tried it?
Yeah, like interval training, it's I prefer that than going out for a long jog.
Yeah.
Both like health wise, and it's more fun. I think it's boring to just jog. Like, where am I going? In a circle.
Yeah.
It feels strange to jog. And also the effect, I think, is better. Yeah, it can be quite hard for the heart to do like long runs also.
Yeah.
Especially if not used to it. So yeah, but our bodies are made for mostly walking. We used to walk a lot. We were at one place and then we walked for a couple of miles. Okay, there's more animals here, more fruit, whatever. Okay, then we place camp here. And then we walked. So yeah, walking. If you don't even do that, then start with that.
Good advice. And so how does your workout schedule look? Like a weekly schedule? What could that be like?
Right now I'm pretty lazy because I prioritize other stuff.
Yeah.
So on the Mondays, I always do an all-in full body workout, like trying to burn everything, not getting any injuries. And then if I feel for it or if I have time, then I do lighter workouts during the week. So sometimes it's 3 times a week. But I always have my Monday where I do all in. And it seems like it's enough for me to at least keep everything muscles and strength wise.
Yeah. And you eat a lot of protein, so they're not gonna disappear, the muscles.
It takes time.
Yeah. Can you feel a big difference if you have a week where you do not exercise as much? Do you feel sluggish in the body, or because I can feel like that sometimes. If I don't work out in a long time period, then I'm like, oh.
Yeah. If it's more than a week, then I can feel it. It's mostly psychologically because I need to get the demons out of my system. So for me, it's mostly actually psychologically. Just get on my headphones, get some music on. And that's another nice little detail that I don't listen to much music that is giving me high outside of training. So when I put it on, it's whoa, because you're you're so dopamine exactly, you're so dopamine sensitive. So it's like a best pre-workout. But if you're always listening to screaming music and techno, then you don't get the same effect from the music when you train. So that's a really nice tips. But you can listen to like calm music and stuff, but not this high.
Yeah, it maybe depends on what you want to do.
Yeah.
In the workout. If you're doing like yoga, it can be like pretty chill music. But if you're doing like HIIT or maybe a lot of weightlifting, maybe you want like something more.
Exactly. Just scream in my ears, and I have a cap on and a hoodie. I don't want to see anyone. I just want to hear someone scream in my ear and then lift the weights, and then I'm okay, and then I'm fine afterwards.
Yeah. World all.
Yes, it's very nice.
Training on.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's so true. But how long time did it take when you started carnivore? Like, how long time did it take for you to get back to your healthy self?
I would say my stomach got good pretty fast. Like the IBS, I don't remember exactly, but it was pretty fast. What took most time was actually the training, just getting used to the body, getting used to producing more blood sugar and the insulin levels getting in the right place. But everything else I think went pretty fast. I started getting I didn't have any more dizziness attacks and stuff. So yeah, you feel so clean in the mouth. That's a nice. Yeah, I didn't even know that you could feel that way. Feel this clean, even though most of the days I don't even brush my teeth, and I don't need. If I eat something else, then I can use toothpaste. But if I don't, then I don't even need that. And still, everything feels much cleaner and better in a way.
But how do you go about deodorant, perfume products in your everyday life? Do you have any? Or do you opt for more natural ones? Because there are a lot of toxins in the everyday products. So that's also like an aspect of health that maybe a lot of people don't think about. So how do you go about these things?
Yeah, I use for hygiene only soap sometimes. That's it.
Like a natural soap?
Yeah, but nothing in the hair. Never. The only problem I have is that I haven't found a good way is with a dishwasher. I still use the chemical shit. I tried to do
baking soda.
Yeah, baking soda, like Paul Saladino trick. It works hand washing, but if you put it down in the machine, it doesn't get clean. Yeah, there's probably something better, but for the body, it's like almost nothing. Yeah, I have that deodorant I use sometimes. It's one ingredient, so It's pretty good, and it's no heavy metals. So
is it the one that looks like a salt thing?
salt?
Yeah, I think there's a natural deodorant that is called Thai, I
Yeah,
think.
exactly.
And it's made from like salt, and it's like a natural. It
Yeah,
makes it a bit drier.
exactly.
So
It smells like water. It's just water, but it helps if it needed. But most of the time, then of course it's depends on what clothes you wear, etc. If you wear more plastic, then that might not smell as well.
exactly.
Plastic clothes.
Yeah, they get so smelly.
Yeah.
But you use natural fibers in clothing or just wear whatever?
Yeah, 50-50.
Yeah.
I try, but sometimes, yeah, I think it's my NPC brain, but sometimes it's just, no, it doesn't really fit. I don't know. It's the material.
Yeah.
But that's also something just to get used to. So, yeah, it's just a lame excuse. Then the clothes, they are more expensive, of course, but it's worth it in the long run. Have you heard of that study they did with the dogs? Yeah.
But you can talk about it. It's good for people to hear this.
Yeah, they put like plastic trousers around their balls. And like one group of dogs and the other group of dogs, they didn't get it. And yeah, they got another type of trousers that wasn't plastic. And so were pretty much infertile, the dogs after that. So it was male dogs. Yeah, that's something to talk about.
Yeah, because so many people today, they can't have their own children. And this could be a factor for sure.
Definitely.
And it's definitely something that we should look into. But for anyone watching, try to get organic cotton underwear. That would be much nicer to that area of your body because it's so susceptible to absorb the toxins from the clothes. And it's not natural fibers in that kind of materials. It's very hard for your body also to breathe when you have it on.
Yeah.
It's good that you brought that up.
Yeah.
I was thinking last time I should bring this up and then I forgot about it. But yeah.
Yeah, so many things. Health is
There's so many things. We
very
could talk
broad.
forever. Like
Yeah. And the glasses, I'm like doing
talk about
like a
that.
thing with where I talk about glasses. That's also a thing. We've been tricked.
Yeah.
That
With the eyesight.
Yeah, exactly. You can't improve it, and you need to have glasses, and then every day or every time you do a new checkup, it's worse. Why is it getting worse?
Yeah.
That's also a business, and it's a huge business. So yeah, we'll go in a video and do a longer video of that, like a presentation of why of course, sometimes we need it. I also have a little bit of downs, like sight. So if I drive, I need to have it, but just being aware of stuff is the most important thing. It doesn't mean you have to change everything at the same time.
Yeah, but
You have
then
to.
at least you know if you want to choose that kind of path.
Exactly. That's the most important thing. Getting the facts.
Yeah, just being aware. And then it's up to you. You can choose to do this or you can choose to don't care about anything. But then at least, because you have the right to know, I think. Everyone has the right to know the truth. And then what they want to do with that, it's up to them. And it comes down to money and profits and everything like that. But it's such a dirty business. There are so many good businesses you could have been making. Instead, you choose to create a problem or make it bigger to get more money.
That's
Instead
how it
of
goes.
fixing real problems.
Yeah, that's how you make money. Create a problem that doesn't exist and then have a solution for the problem.
And then sell the solution. And then people will be dependent on that solution. And it's so terrible when it comes to people's health, I think. Their physical health, their mental health, their eyesight, whatever it could be, because it disables you in a way. You get dependent on something that you otherwise could have gone without. That's so sad. But anyways, so much doom talk. But it gets like that. The more knowledge you get, the more you see the darker sides. Because it seems like everything is fine and we know how things work, but it's not really like that. not everyone knows this.
Yeah, and I don't think everyone even have to deep dive into every rabbit hole that exists. They can just, that's why I push this, that they just ask questions, and for health, just feel your body. You don't need to know. People won't have time to investigate everything. It's impossible. So if you start there, it's such a great start, because that means that you're not completely brainwashed if you can listen to your body at least.
Yeah, and that way you control what's at least going into your body, and that will make the biggest difference, because it's literally something that's going in your body. It's in your body and it's building your body. So if people can start with that, I think it will open their eyes also for other things. Then they will start to see, oh, okay, they were right. This is not the truth. And then they maybe start to think more for themselves when they see the results, because they are going to get results. If they're on like a standard diet, they're going to feel different in many cases. Like, there are a few people who are on a very clean diet, all natural, very clean diet from the get-go. And the majority is not. And that's why the majority is sick. But they don't see that connection a lot of the times. As you said, you get so used to having, like you said about your mouth, you didn't know how it felt to have a fresh mouth because you never had it. And then when you got it, you were like, oh, this is how it's supposed to feel.
Yeah.
And that must have turned on the light. Oh, what else? What more? And I think a lot of people could get that aha experience just by starting there, because it's so obvious, because you can feel it, you can taste it.
Yeah.
But everything, it's such a big difference in your life. But is there something that I have forgot to ask you, or something that you want to talk about?
No, it's just that if you want to start somewhere with your life, then start with diet. It's like the biggest life hack, but it's not a life hack. Just eat proper human diet, and every small things in your life will be easier. So I think it's a very good start to do. But if you had some other type of diet, like standard American diet, standard Swedish diet, or something, then most people should do it like slowly over time. Don't change overnight, because it will cause problem for a lot of people. That's important.
Nice. Because you also have a slogan that you say at the end of every video.
Yeah.
And it summarizes everything. And in English, it would be meat is health.
Yep. Exactly.
And I thought it was so good because it starts there. It starts with yourself. It starts with perhaps what you put into your body. And then you will see like a ripple effect of that.
Yep.
Because a lot of disease starts in the gut. Because when you have inflamed gut, it leaks out into your bloodstream. So a lot of things can get disrupted by that. So I think it's a very good slogan. And you are a very wise man and very
Thank you.
educated, and not only in the form of proper education. You have done your own studies. You have been thinking for yourself.
Yep.
So I just want to thank you for that, and thank you for helping so many people. And I just feel like you're gonna make such big difference in the world. And I think it's a great purpose to have. And if there's any business you would like to support, then it's something like this, where you help people for real. So if you would just tell my followers where they can follow you.
Yeah.
And what you do and what you can do for them.
Yeah. Thank you for the kind words. And I also see your work as very important. It's mostly a Swedish YouTube channel I have. So if you're Swedish, then it's Carnivore Sverige at YouTube. Yeah, and all my links are there.
Yeah.
And thank you
I
so
link
much.
it below. Thank you so much. It was all from my heart, and thank you for spreading the word.
Thank you for being invited.
Yeah. I see you. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.